My name is Todd, and I'm the program manager for the Advanced Accounting program in the School of Continuing Studies. I should first just say that I do not teach any of the courses. I am not the instructor, not a curriculum expert, but I manage the program. And what that really means is I look after the program, so things like the instructors and budgets and some marketing and curriculum oversight and those kinds of things. So I always say it's like running a small business. Anything that really happens within the program kind of falls to me. But I also say that the most important thing that I do is making sure that you guys have a positive learning experience. So anything comes up that you feel needs my attention from your experience, I want to know that because it's important for me to understand and get feedback so I can make changes to make sure the program is positive for you guys. I am recording the session. I'll share this probably on Moodle with everybody. And as Fiona did with just responding to my first quick question, if you have any questions throughout, just post them to the discussion panel. I'll probably answer them at the end, but since there's only a couple of people online, I may peek a little more and we can have more of a conversation that way, which is just fine. So I want to do a quick poll just to get to know you guys a bit better. So I'm going to ask you just a few questions. So my first question is, I'm just curious if people have taken an online class before. All right. So have and have had not, which is perfectly fine. So we'll talk about what the online experience is like. For obviously the students that have done that, they'll have a bit of a head start. Okay, perfect. Hold on a sec. I think I've got a problem with my screen here. Hold on. Okay. Oops. All right, that's better. Something seems to be as well. Okay. Okay. So sorry about that. I was a little bit off kilter there. Okay, so the next question is, I was just wondering if people have viewed or they have, participated in our, the Foundation Accounting Program, our first accounting program. Okay. Give people another second or two. Okay, so it looks like most people have not participated in our program, which is just fine. I was just wondering where people came from. Cool. Sorry, my computer's doing some funny things with me today. Give me a sec to try to keep bouncing around a bit. I'm not sure why my computer's doing that. Okay, and I was just curious to know where people live. Do people live in the GTA? People live outside the GTA but still in Ontario? They live outside Ontario but still in Canada? Or do you guys live overseas? Perfect. So everybody lives in the GTA, which is just perfect. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, my computer's doing weird things, so let's okay. I think we're back on track. Okay. Anyway, thanks for sharing some of your insights. That's helpful as I go through my my talk. So I'll share some slides with you, just some general things about the program, some best practices for learning online, and then I'll actually jump to the Moodle shell, which is the course management system we use to show you around where you find the course materials and things like that. So the first thing I wanted to just mention is the fact that this program is a cohort program. And why that's important is because it's, as you may know, the same students who are in the first class are the same students that are in the second class and the third class and all the way through all 9 classes. So the benefit of having a cohort program is that students really get a chance to interact with each other. They get a chance to build some really good relationships socially, study-wise. You get like study groups. You can kind of connect with people. Maybe since you're all from the GTA, people can sort of meet in person if they like. That's certainly a possibility with your proximity to each other. And also from just a networking possibility from work experiences. And maybe people are working in companies that are hiring people and people you've interact with in the course, maybe a good chance to sort of use that as a sort of a job interview in a sense, if you know that there are people who are looking for jobs and your company might have some opportunities. So lots of really good things about the cohort, which I think make the program quite unique. So you all know this, I'm sure, but here are the 9 courses in the program. The colors mean nothing except I was just sort of showing you, just breaking it up a little bit. But those are the 8 courses. They're very, very tied to deep dive into accounting, from corporate finance to intermediate financial accounting, intermediate and advanced management accounting, intermediate financial accounting 2, advanced financial accounting, taxation, auditing, strategy management. And as you probably know, if you're looking to do the CPA designation, these courses really tie in directly to their equivalents. And as you know, our course has been approved by CPA. So if you're looking to take the courses to kind of meet their educational requirements, obviously you'll be doing that by completing our program. One of the more important things I just want to mention to you is about academic integrity. So I'm sure you know this from your previous studies, if it's a degree or other sort of continuing study type programs. But really, academic integrity is very important to us. And this really means being honest in your exams. This means submitting your original work. So if you're doing something that requires writing, it needs to be your own words. Just because it's on the internet and it's public does not make it yours to then incorporate into some assignment and claim it's your words. So if you're not citing your sources, then that's actually academic integrity, and that's a reason for a failure on the assignment, in the course, whatever the case may be. So it's really just important that you guys understand these things. And if you have questions about what can you do, what can't you do, there's certainly your instructor who's obviously very versed in academic integrity. There's obviously the links on our website which refer back to the university, or you can go to York's website and even just punch in academic integrity, and they give you a whole list of how to make sure you cite correctly and how to take somebody else's words and make them into your own by incorporating your own thoughts and whatever. But really important sort of component of the program is to make sure that you're honest in the work you submit. I'll talk more about the exams in a bit, but we've got some things in place which will help with the integrity as well. Just some basic resources to keep in mind. If you have no reason to come to campus, you probably don't need a student card, or we call it a YU card. If you do come to campus, then you can certainly reach out to us and we can help you get that. In terms of textbooks, in your welcome email, you should have all gotten the email. If you haven't, let us know. Sometimes it goes to junk. But otherwise, you should sort of know what textbooks you need for each course, and that way you can plan ahead if needed. I would recommend waiting a little close to the class just in case something changes, but you have all the information in your welcome email. And the other thing I want to make you aware of is just the fact that as a York student, you have access to the library. So even though you're an online student, you may have a need to access materials in the library, if it's databases, if it's journals, if it's books, or whatever the case may be. And again, in your email, in the welcome packet, you should have gotten your information on how to access the library. But if not, please, again, let us know. But just want to make you aware that that's a really wonderful resource you should take advantage of. People that are new to online, I'll just sort of quickly run through some of these things. You may know this already, but I'll just quickly share them with you. So our courses are facilitated by an instructor. They are not self-directed. You're not on your own trying to work through the material and enter or submit your exams whenever you feel you want to. Very set structure, definitely deadlines. and definitely facilitated by an instructor who is online pretty much Monday through Friday every day, at some point during the day, for about 45 minutes to an hour, answering questions, facilitating discussion boards, sharing, insights and maybe what's upcoming this week, or sometimes they're sharing additional articles and videos or podcasts, whatever they feel is going to help you learn the material. You should probably expect about 8 to 10 hours of effort a week, and that is everything from reading the textbook to doing problems to working through any homework or activities. So, again, a fair bit of work. You need to worry about time management. So if you're balancing a full-time job, family, wife, kids, other family commitments, really got to figure out how to best fit in your studies. The course is developed to be asynchronous, which really means not live. So there'll be no time that you'll be required to be online at Tuesday at 8 o'clock to participate in some discussion forum or to listen to a lecture of any sort. When you do the work each week is up to you. Again, before work, after work, kids go to bed. Your manager gives you some time during the day. Really up to you to figure out when you do the work. All the courses have assignments and activities and exams. So again, there's a variety in each course, but you should certainly expect there to be at least a final exam. Again, some have some group projects, some have some individual assignments, some quizzes. There's lots of practice opportunities to make sure you understand the material, which I'll show you when we get to the Moodle course. Actually, this slide is a bit misleading in your case because there's only actually 15 students in the advanced program. As you know, this is our first offering of the advanced. We're quite happy with having 15, which is a great number, I think, to have some meaningful discussions, to interact with some students, but not have it too overwhelming for you and the instructor as we go through the first offering. I talked about the textbook, so we'll just skip that. There will be group work in this course, so I think it's important that I just mention that that's an important part of just life, as I'm sure a lot of you know, because I assume most of you are working professionals to some degree, but it's just a reality of life. So learning how to work in groups, how to manage teams, how to manage personalities, how to figure out sort of who's the leader of the group, who's going to do which job or task. That's all part of things that you would do in the real life, and I do it all the time with groups within my department, groups with other departments on campus, and sometimes with people overseas. So it's a really important skill to have because these are the things that we feel are these soft skills that really help you maintain and be successful in the job world. Everyone's going to learn accounting, everyone's going to understand debits and credits, but it's the sort of soft skills that really, I think, help you define who you are and sometimes separate you out from the others. So group work and teamwork and critical thinking and communication skills are sometimes equally as important or more important than actually knowing accounting. And I just want to mention with the group discussions, this is something, again, something we do in the online course to help, delve deeper into the topic, help you interact with other students. But really, it's a time that you guys can sort of work through a problem together. It is a required component. It is graded as part of participation, so you have to do it. We try not to make the questions, what's 2 plus 2, and everyone's just like, it's 4, it's 4, it's 4. We try to make them a little more thinking questions where you have to actually, share your thoughts and experiences and not just, regurgitate what you learned in the textbook. They're not essays, it's a conversation. So really, when you're sharing your thoughts, think about trying to figure out how to move the conversation forward. What are you doing to sort of enhance the conversation? And not every time you're answering what's 2 plus 2 equals 4, but maybe you're asking, hey, Johnny, why do you think 2 plus 2 is 4? And how'd you come up with that? And, asking some questions of the person's response to, again, move the conversation forward. I just want to make you aware of the online exams because I think it's important. So again, going back to academic integrity, we have 2 ways you can take your final exams. And again, thinking about making sure that they are proctored correctly. So the first way is something called Be Virtual. And Be Virtual is a proctoring service that we work with where students actually do have to pay the fee for to take the exam that way. But you take it in the convenience of your own home or work, wherever you might want to do that. And Be Virtual basically will take control of your computer. So they'll use the webcam and they can watch you if you're scanning the room to look at, maybe you've got some cheat sheets on the wall or you've got something on your desk. They'll probably ask you to sort of take your laptop and scan the room to make sure there's no notes. They're watching your eyes while you're taking it. So they're really watching you take this exam. The other option is to come to campus, which there's no fee for that. And we have a live proctor, a live person who will then watch you take the exam. You still do it on a computer, but you do that sort of under the guidance of an invigilator. We'll post more information on that, but just want to make you aware that that's how the exams work. And just a quick note on, once you finish the program, we'll invite you to our graduation. We mail out certificates, or if you get them with us when you come to graduation, but that will certainly happen at the very, very end. Okay, so before I get to the questions, I wanted to actually jump to Moodle and show you around. So just give me a second while I just change my screen here. Okay, so everybody should be able to see, this is our website. You're probably quite familiar with it, just when you came and learned about the program. And up here, you'll see a login button. So first thing you'll do is you'll click on login. And again, you should have gotten your username and password in that welcome email. You'll then click on the student portal. So click on that. That sort of logs you into, in this case, logs you in. And then you're going to click on Moodle. So once you click on Moodle, you are now actually in the course. Now, I actually have access to lots of courses, so yours will look slightly different when you actually go find the class. But I find it most helpful to click on courses. And in this case, I'll click on accounting. You should only have one, so it shouldn't be less to sort of choose from. Fall 2018, the Advanced Accounting Program. And then the first class, again, there's a list of all the classes which aren't active, only the one in red is. And you click on that. And now you're actually in the course. So this is what the course looks like. This is like the course homepage. So obviously there are lots of buttons to sort of navigate you through the system, and I'll walk you through them. I'm not going to get into any content-specific stuff. That's really for the instructor to worry about. But I'll just sort of give you a little tour, just so you're familiar with where to find things and how to find us if need be. So the first thing is the course outline, and that's your instructor for the first class. Her name is Famita, and you can read about her 22 years of teaching experience, and she has an MBA, she has a PhD, and she's a terrific instructor. She also teaches in our in-person class and gets really excellent reviews, so I think you'll have a good experience with Famita. Then there's a bit of the course description. There's the outcomes and stuff. There's a bit of the format. There's some best practices on using the discussion boards. So again, I encourage you to look through that. There's the required text. There's how to find the schedule, which is a separate tab, which I'll talk about in a second. So here you can see there's a midterm exam, there's an individual assignment, there's a participation mark, and then there's a final exam. So that's how you're graded in this particular course. A lot of the courses are quite similar, some variation on the different assessments, and also maybe a variation on the percentage. Again, here's the different descriptions of the actual exams and a little more sort of information on what you should expect. Here's, again, more information on the Be Virtual and the Come to Campus, sort of how to write the exam, and then information how to find all of our policies and procedures and that kind of stuff. So again, your basic, course outline, course overview, but certainly go back in detail and look through that. Here is the actual schedule. So you can see the week by week and when things start and end and what chapters to read and what sort of due this week, if it's a discussion board or it's a midterm and how that works. And I'll go through those in more detail, but just, again, a quick overview of the schedule. If you click on the link to the module, it takes you to the module. And you can see that there are all 9 weeks of the course, okay? So you can, again, go through that in more detail. But I'll show you what most of the stuff looks like in the individual, in this case, modules. So the way the course is broken down is by modules, and it's by week. So in week 1, there's actually 2 modules that are taught. And sometimes they will align with the chapters in the textbook. So let's look at module 1 as an example. So here's module 1. Now this instructor podcast actually includes it's really a week 1 podcast. So it includes content from module 1 and module 2. So you should definitely listen to that, and it kind of talks through, just like the instructor's voice, kind of give you some insights and some examples to help you learn the material. And there's a whole sort of introduction to what the topic is and asking you to sort of think a bit and giving you some examples just to sort of, again, introduce what you're going to be learning this week. There are the course outcomes for this week. Here's what you need to learn. So there's the textbook readings, the chapters. There's some PowerPoint decks that we're taking mostly from the textbook, but just some decks if you want to go through that to help you focus on what's important. There's a video that the instructor has incorporated, which again ties back to learning for this week. There's some practice exercises which are non-graded in the textbook, which the instructor has given you some suggestions. And then there's a non-graded quiz, so you can kind of click on that, do the quiz as many times as you like, and it just says, hey, I understand this material, or oh gosh, I'm totally lost. Let me go back to the PowerPoint deck. Let me go back to the podcast. Let me go back to the chapters. So, you know, just get a sense of where you're at in the course without having an actual grade. In this case, this is sort of the discussions for the week. So the first one is just an introduction, and I'll show you that in a second in more detail when we get to that sort of tab. And here's the week 1 discussion. So again, it's asking you to look at setting up your own business, and would you want to be a sole proprietor, or would you want to do that as a corporation, and why would you do that, and what's some of the best reasons? And you would do that as a group. And again, I'll show you that in more detail. And this is then just a summary of the course itself, and the summary of the module itself, and what you should have learned. And then obviously, you scroll back to the top, you can do that. So if you click back on modules, and then click on the second module in week 1, you see there's no podcast. So obviously you've done that. But again, very similar. There's all the readings. There's some cases and things and problems to solve. There are the quizzes. There's the PowerPoint deck, a different video, and obviously a different summary. Okay. So week by week, you can go through each week. We don't hide the content, so you can sort of look ahead a little bit. If you've got, you know, some obligations at work, you know, you're going to be really busy one week, you can sort of look ahead to see what's required of you, what chapters you have to read, etc. Okay. The next thing is the discussions, which I showed you briefly, but you can see here there's course news and announcements. And this is actually a note from Famita, so if you click on that, you can sort of, again, see she's talking about welcome to the class, and after you start browsing. So, you know, just little tidbits and helpful hints from Famita. There's some general course questions. There's the introduction section. So again, these are the notes from people. So Victoria sort of has already written, and she, oh, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing there. So that's Victoria, but you click on where it says introduction. You can see her little welcome. She's actually from Moscow, which is cool. This is her job. There's a question that we posed for, you know, in terms of, did she answer? No, not really. But anyway, you can sort of read that. And don't, you know, feel shy to sort of maybe personally respond to Victoria and say, hey, Victoria, just click on the reply button. Say, oh, I visited Moscow. Oh, my aunt's, you know, from Russia. I also worked at that company. Or, hey, I would love to sort of own a beauty salon, or whatever the case may be. Because as you get, you know, through this course and you sort of learn that you're going to be together for the next year and a half, you know, building these relationships, getting to know people on a personal level is very important. So that's just one little way to kind of connect people. As you go through your different group work, you'll learn lots more about people, but this is just a good introduction. So everyone should post there. You know, again, and the instructor will comment as well. Okay. And then here's all the discussions. So Olga has already responded to the question. Here's the actual question. If you click on her response, you will see she's given a little answer, and then you can just reply to it because you want to, again, build on the conversation. And there's questions throughout the entire program, and it's basically one per week. So not too onerous. Again, you've got to participate. Don't wait till the last second to respond, because then no one has a chance to sort of add to your comment or comment on your comment. You want to do that early in the week so you can again have a conversation. Okay. And here are the assignments. So again, here are the self-assessments, so you can kind of go through all those. Do it as many times as you like, that's fine. Here's the individual assignment. There's a grading rubric, so you can kind of look through what's required for the individual assignment. And then the midterm and the final are sort of timed. So typically, in this case, you can start it on Friday, the 26th of October, and any time through Sunday, you can start it. Doesn't matter when, as long as it's between those two dates, and you have 1 hour to complete it. Now, the only thing you need to be aware of is once you start it, you must finish it. So you can't start it on Friday for 20 minutes, then come back on Sunday and finish the last 40 minutes. You have one opportunity to take the midterm, start it, and finish it in the same seating. Okay, that's very important. And then the final exam, as we talked about, will be done through the Be Virtual, or if you come to campus. And again, you can sort of, it's sort of set to have, again, a time frame where you can start it and we can finish it. Again, cruise through all that. You can sort of learn more. Any questions, just ask. And here's the contact us page. So you can again see if you've got certain questions. We try to give you some guidance on who to contact, so you don't send everything to me, which is, I guess, fine, but it's half the time, 90% of the time, I can't answer your question. So anyway, there's a coordinator. There's some technical support if you can't access Moodle, or if you've got problems in Moodle, if something doesn't open, they can best help you. There's your instructor. There's a registration coordinator if you've got questions around tax receipts or your academic record, your grade report, whatever the case may be. Okay. If you want to see your grades, it's actually on the side here. It's not actually in the course, just one on the side, so you can see that there. And then again, if you have questions for me about the content or the curriculum or the instructor, those are the things that I sort of see. Okay. So that was, again, my little opportunity just to give you an overview of Moodle, show you around a little bit if you're not familiar with our system, if you're not familiar with online learning, give you some best practice ideas from group work to discussions, etc. But really, that's was my goal. The instructor will be obviously much more involved with the curriculum part, teaching the material, but that's really just as a program level. This is the first course. I just wanted to give an opportunity for people to ask me questions and to just get a little tour of what to expect in the next short while. So I'm happy to answer questions. Just go to that little question box, post the questions. I'll stay on as long as people need. No one's posted anything yet, which is fine. Maybe I already answered all your questions and you've gotten a good sense of what's required of you or how to find the information you need inside the shell here. But I'm happy to answer any questions you guys may have. I did one this morning in business, and that one had lots of questions. I did one in the foundation program. They had no questions. And it seems like you guys have no questions either, which is fine too. So if nobody has any questions, I guess I will bid you farewell. I will wish you a wonderful, wonderful term. Good luck with this first class. Any problems, please let me know. And if you have problems, please reach out to your instructor. Don't wait till it's the end of the course and be like, oh my God, I don't understand anything that was just discussed. Really important. I see your question there, Chris. I'll get to it in a second. Yeah. Don't wait till the last minute to reach out for help, either through a peer, the instructor, or somebody, because if we don't know you need help, then we can't help you. Okay. Good, Chris. The first question. Thank you. Okay. Chris is asking about the times for the exams, the final exams. I think they're typically offered on the Monday, and I don't know the exact time. I think they're in the evening hours because obviously it's a part-time program. But Diane, who's the coordinator, usually will arrange that and post information to the schedule and announcement discussion board. So But I'm pretty certain it's Mondays, and I think it's in the evenings. So hopefully that answers your question. If you have a more specific question, you can certainly reach out to Diane, and she can help you. I can sort of actually go back to that. So if you have a question, just go to CPE Help, and they will just say you're in the Advanced Accounting Program, and it gets directed directly to Diane. Yep, you're welcome, Chris. So again, if no other questions, then I will sign off. I appreciate everybody taking a few minutes out of your day to come listen in, and hopefully this helped you be a little less anxious about the start of your program. Any questions along the way, reach out and ask. Otherwise, thanks guys. Have a great afternoon.